What is up, everybody? We're back here at King Film Sports for the NFL Week 7 betting locks and game predictions video here. Reminder that I did come out with my Week 6 reaction and power rankings yesterday, so if you want to see my reactions to all the games and neutral field, favorability, power rating, then be sure to check that out. The top 10 in my power ranking might be very controversial, but I'm very adamant about what I believe there in terms of my perspective on these teams, and I welcome all feedback in the comments. But in yesterday's video, did not get to go over the recap for the Jets-Bills game as it obviously transpired last night, and I thought that those teams were relatively equivalent. I thought the officiating was a little bit overbearing. So many flags in that game, so many bad calls, I thought, and the wind really wreaked havoc as the Bills missed an extra point, I believe, and maybe a field goal, and then the Jets missed 2 big field goals as well near the end of the game. Bills end up winning by 3. Jets also got a big Hail Mary, but a gut punch to the Jets as they lose 3 straight here, now down 2 games in division, and the Bills have the tiebreaker right now. So Bills, I'm not completely sold on them as a Super Bowl contender yet, but they definitely look great in terms of the division thus far. And from a betting lock perspective, we had the Jets +3, got great line movement there, ended up pushing, and then we played back the Bills money line for a half unit there, so we netted up a half unit in terms of spread. And now we get to the Week 7 predictions, starting out with the Thursday night football game, a battle between 2 rookie quarterbacks, Spencer Rattler and Bo Nix, and this one should be very interesting. Spread right now is about 1 or 1.5 in favor of the Broncos. Give me the Saints to win this game. They're coming off of a 4-game losing streak, need this win, and I actually do not think that Rattler played that bad last week. He had a couple big picks late, but by that point, the game was already over. Just a couple fluky plays, and their defense did not play well. Special teams got ransacked against Tampa Bay there, and the game just got out of hand. So I think in this game, they'll be able to hunker down at home and force Bo Nix into a couple mistakes. And that Broncos-Chargers final score was very phony, in my opinion. The Broncos did some window dressing late to get it to 7 points, but it was 23-0 heading into the fourth quarter. Bo Nix did nothing all day against that Chargers defense. Not saying that the Saints defense is so good, but I do think that they will be able to limit Bo Nix in this Broncos offense. And I do think that this desperate Saints offense will just have a little bit more production there. So give me the Saints to get a narrow victory on Thursday night there. Then we get to the London game, matchup of 2 1-5 teams who desperately need this win. And for that reason, I think that this game is pretty entertaining because currently a tire fire going on in Jacksonville, a team that has a $200 million quarterback in Trevor Lawrence that they just paid Doug Peterson. They expected a lot more out of him as their head coach. And then on the other side, you have the Patriots coming off a 5-game losing streak. Gerard Mayo not doing too hot as the head coach of the Patriots, but they do have Drake May, who I think impressed a little bit in his rookie debut against Houston, had a couple mistakes, but overall was pretty productive last week. I think it was really the defense let them down. In this game, give me the Jags to win. I do think that this spread is a little inflated right now. It's 5.5. Maybe if we were looking at a 6.5 or 7, you could see me get in on this Patriots team here, as I know that this Jaguars team is probably better than your average 1-5 team, but not too much better because this offense has still struggled. Lawrence has not played great, and this defense of the Jaguars is one of the worst in the league as well. So I don't think that they're leaps and bounds better than this Patriots team, but I do think they went out right there narrowly. Then we get to Seattle and the Falcons. And initially I thought this was going to be a Seahawks spot because the Seattle Seahawks have lost 3 straight games after starting out 3-0. Falcons have been a bit lucky this season, although they did beat the Panthers last week by 18 points. But then looking at the spread, 2.5, it's just got to be a best bet here. Give me the Falcons minus 2.5. They are the better team here. Sure, the Seattle Seahawks are coming off of long rest after playing that Thursday night game to the Niners, but that was really a gut punch to them. They have no momentum right now. So I think that if the spread inflates to about 3.5, like I think it will, I'll play back some on the Seahawks there because I think it's a good spot. But overall, I just think that Atlanta is the better team. I think Kirk Cousins in that offense is just better than Geno Smith in the Seahawks offense there as well. And I do think that the Falcons D-line will be able to eat against that Seahawks O-line who has been ravaged by injury there. So I do think that the Falcons win, but maybe play back Seattle if the spread gets a little out of hand there. Then next we get to the Titans at the Bills. Give me the Titans +9 here as a best bet. I actually haven't taken this one yet. I advise you all to wait on this spread, as I think if we can get a 10 or a 10.5 number, that could be superb here. Definitely also look at a Titans team total over in this one. If we can get a 16.5 there, I like the Titans to surpass 17 points in this game. As just some offensive regression here, whoever they end up going with, Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, I think that this Bills defense is not too great. Yes, they might lure Levis and this Titans offense into a couple mistakes in this game, but overall, I do think that the Titans will be pretty efficient from an offensive perspective, and the Titans defense, I think, will be able to clamp down on this Buffalo team who are riding high on a short week at home here. So expect this to be a bit more of a dogfight than many Buffalo Bills fans may believe it to be. So give me this to be a 1-possession game there in Buffalo, but I do think that the Bills went outright in that one. Then next we get to the Bengals and the Browns here, and you saw that I moved this one to a best bet. I actually haven't taken this one yet in spite of the +5 on the screen because the spread has gone absolutely out of control in this game. It's gone up to 6.5 in some spots. Perhaps by the time many of you guys are watching this video, we see a 7 or a 7.5 number pop up. This is just incomprehensible. I know that this Browns team is horrible, but they are not the worst team in the league. I continue to repeat, we will see some progression from this offense, whoever they go with at quarterback, whether it be Deshaun Watson or Jameis Winston. That running game is still potent here. And you have to remember, this Bengals defense is one of the worst in the league. Yes, they did play well against the New York Giants last week, but that was due to Daniel Jones and some mistakes there. And just generally that Giants offense was without Malik Neighbors and Devin Singletary, and it's just not that good. I think that the Browns at home here in a must-win spot. They always play the Bengals well. And yes, the Bengals are in a desperation spot as well. I just do not think that warrants being a touchdown favorite against the team in the division here. We know that these AFC North games are always close. So do not buy the hype here in this Bengals team. I think that they're better than a 2-4 team, but I think this Browns team is better than the 1-5 team. And this is just a great value opportunity on Cleveland here, so hop on that one. Then next we get to the Packers and the Texans here. Jump on this spread before it gets to 3. I think it's at 3 in a lot of spots. I don't hate it there because I do think that the Packers are the slightly better team in this one. It's just a brutal spot here for Houston as they went on the road to New England, then have to fly back to Houston, then go to Green Bay. Tough environment there as well between two second-year quarterbacks in terms of starting. I think that they're pretty comparable, but I just like the Packers' overall roster slightly better in this matchup. So give me the Packers to win this one. But I will say, as I said in the Seahawks-Falcons game, if this spread inflates too far, if it gets to 3.5, 4, we could be looking at a playback opportunity on Houston, as I do not think the disparity between these two teams is so big. But in general, I like the coaching matchup as well between Matt LaFleur and D'Amico Ryans there. So give me the Packers to win this game there at home. Then we get to the Dolphins and the Colts, and I gave this one out in the Discord on Sunday night, as I did a lot of these games where the spread has moved, so definitely be sure to join the Discord and check those plays on Sunday night when I give them out or whenever I give out plays. I took the Dolphins plus 4.5 here, and the 3.5 and 4 were still widely available for a long time after that. We're seeing it drop down to 3 points, which is just incredible. I think we'll be buying back on this Colts team at the -2.5 or -3 number because it's getting out of control, the hype in this Dolphins team. Yes, they are coming off of the bye, but Tua's not playing in this game. It's still going to be Snoop Huntley, and I just think that there is a ceiling on this Dolphins offense, even though the Colts defense isn't that good. And we will see Anthony Richardson in this game probably, and we know from a power rating perspective he is worse than Joe Flacco, but I think that might be a slight overrating. But I do like this Dolphins team at the 3.5 number as well, so if you can get that, I would be sure to play that as well, as I think this one is going to be a dogfight in Indianapolis with this Dolphins team coming off the bye, but give me the Colts to win narrowly in that one. Then we get into a massive game with immense ramifications here in the NFC North between the Lions and the Vikings here. Lions, obviously colossal victory in Dallas last week, winning by 38 points there in that one against the Dallas Cowboys. Just a completely embarrassing performance from Dallas there. But now this is a big game in Minnesota here for the division. Vikings can put a stranglehold on the division and the conference at large, as these are the two teams with 1 loss or less in the NFC right now. And if you feel particularly strong about this matchup, you may want to look at some futures for the number 1 seed in the NFC here, because if the Vikings win this one, they look in great shape to do so. Or if you like the Lions there, you can get some good value as well. This is a tough spot for the Lions, losing Hutchinson last game and facing this Vikings team with a great home field advantage and coming here rested off of a bye. But with that being said, I do still like the Lions. If we can get a spread of up to 3 points here, +3 on the Lions, I would like that as well, just because I think that the Lions are the better team here. And although this Vikings defense and Brian Flores have been great this season, we have to look to the past couple of seasons here, as this Lions offense with Ben Johnson has just completely exposed that defense because of that power running game and that great offensive line, which has been able to neutralize the blitzing attack of Brian Flores, get some receivers open downfield for Goff to throw. So I do just like the schematic advantages of this Lions team. As I mentioned, tough spot for them, so I don't feel so strongly about it, but I narrowly like the Lions to win that game. I think that the Vikings are just flying a little too hot at that 5-0 number. Next, we get to an NFC East divisional matchup here. Give me the Giants +3.5. I think that this number may still be available. I don't hate the Giants +3, but definitely love it more at the +3.5 number. This is going to be a desperate team, and I do think that we will see at least Malik Neighbors back, if not also Devin Singletary there, which I think is huge. I like the effort that they gave against a desperate Bengals team. Just got kind of unlucky, in my opinion, in that game. And I think that this Eagles team is a very overrated at this point. They are definitely better than this Giants team, but that performance last week against the Browns was very concerning, in my opinion, and I think that some reckoning will come for that Philadelphia offense against this New York defense here. Do like the Giants to keep it close here. Give me the Eagles to win the game narrowly. So if this spread gets down to 2.5 or 2, we could be looking at a little Eagles play back there, so keep that in mind. But give me the Giants to cover the 3.5. Next, we get to the Raiders and the Rams. very interesting game here. I almost will certainly end up on the Raiders at some point because this spread has just got out of hand. Yes, it is McVay, Stafford, maybe Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua come back for this Rams offense as well. But I do not see that warranting them being over a touchdown favorite against this Raiders team. So we'll probably end up on Las Vegas here. It also helps that Las Vegas, as we know, used to play in LA. They have a lot of fans, and they got clowned last week for having a home game, but there were more Pittsburgh Steelers fans in attendance. This will be the opposite. I see a majority Raiders fan advantage here in LA. Yes, LA is probably the better team, but I feel like this spread should be about a field goal. So I do think that the Raiders will keep it close there, whoever they end up going with at quarterback. And obviously just getting Davante Adams off the team here, traded to the Jets this morning, I think will help them out in terms of morale. I think that this team is in desperate need of a great performance, and I do think that they give it this week. I think that it's going to be a dogfight of a game. Give me the Rams to win narrowly, but I do like the Raiders, but we can wait on that spread for now. Next, get the Panthers at +8 against the Commanders or the 7.5. The biggest number that you can find because I think it's going to come down here as the Commanders, they lost Jonathan Allen, their best defensive player on that defensive line. A defense that was already horrible. It's been the offense with Jaden Daniels that's been carrying this team. And I do think that Jaden Daniels will have a big day against this Panthers defense, who are probably the worst unit in the league thus far. But I do think that Andy Dalton, other than the 2 late interceptions last week against Atlanta, I thought he was great against that Atlanta defense. This Commanders defense is pretty bad. So I think we'll see a bit of a shootout here and some backdoor potential for this Carolina team. So give me them to keep it close here because I think that the spread may close under a touchdown in that one. And then next, we get to the Super Bowl rematch between the Chiefs and Niners here. And in this one, give me the Niners -1 here. I know that the Chiefs are coming off of a bye with Andy Reid, perennially great off the bye, and Chiefs getting a little bit healthier, but Niners getting healthier as well. I really like what they showed on Thursday night. And this is truly just a desperation spot. Although they won in Seattle on primetime, they are not satisfied at that 3-3 record, and they want some payback for that Super Bowl loss last season. Also, a couple years ago in Levi Stadium, they got embarrassed, lost by 20 to this Chiefs team, and obviously lost the Super Bowl before that as well. So this one will mean a lot to them. Not to say that it won't for the Chiefs as well, but I think specifically for that D-line against this Chiefs banged-up O-line, I think that's where this game is going to be decided. I think Nick Bosa against the rookie tackle for the Chiefs will be an area of weakness for Kansas City, and I do not think that they will be able to run the ball against the San Francisco defense, who have been underwhelming so far. I think you see their best effort. A bit concerning that they won't have Dre Greenlaw back for this matchup. As you saw when he went down in the Super Bowl, things were completely different in that fourth quarter and overtime. So Devondre Campbell and a couple of those other linebackers better step up here, and the secondary as well. But I do think that Fred Warner and Nick Bosa will have great games for this Niners defense, and I do think Purdy will play very well in this game against this Spagnuolo defense, and the Niners will avenge that loss in the Super Bowl. And so with this, I will also give out the Niners 0.2 units to get the number 1 seed in the NFC here, which is currently sitting at 22-1. I don't like that it will take 3 months to pay out here, but I do think that the Niners are the best team from a power rating perspective in the NFC, and if they can win this game, like I think that they will, and get healthier, getting Dre Greenlaw, some guys in the secondary, and then also Christian McCaffrey, Ricky Pearsall, and some offensive linemen back, that will help this team. And I'm ultimately just looking at their schedule. If they can win this game and then get to 10-5 for that Week 17 Monday Night Football matchup against the Lions and win that game, then I do think that they will win the NFC. I just see some regression here for some of these top NFC teams, like the Vikings and Lions, who have tough divisional schedules there, will begin to regress. So if the Niners can win these next 2 weeks against the Chiefs and Cowboys, I really like their odds there. So give me them 0.2 units, 22-1 to get the NFC number 1 seed, although they are behind the 8 ball right now at 3-3. I love the value there. And then next we get to the Jets at the Steelers. Sunday Night Football here, and a lot of intriguing storylines as Russell Wilson will start for the Steelers team. Pretty controversial considering the Steelers have started out hot with this Justin Fields offense at 4-2 there. Jets in much need of a win. I think that they're the better team in this one, getting Davante Adams. Bit of a scary spot as they are on an emotional roller coaster here and on a short week getting Davante Adams, but I do think that Rodgers played very well last week, and he's going to have to get the ball out quick against the Steelers D-line, but I trust him to do that, and I'm just not sold on Russell Wilson at this point against this Jets defense, so give me the Jets to win that one narrowly there. Then we get to the Monday night doubleheader. Ravens at Bucks should be an offensive shootout. Give me the over 48 or 48.5, whatever you're seeing in that one. I think that this will be points bonanza in Tampa Bay there. We're looking at good weather as well. I just do not think that this Tampa Bay defense can stop this Ravens offense. The Ravens offense probably been one of the best in the league thus far with Lamar Jackson. Does scare me a little bit that they could just sit on the ball with that running attack, but they have had an explosive passing attack with Lamar as well and some of those weapons. So I think that the Ravens definitely get at least 30 in this one, and the Tampa Bay offense has been great as well, and the Ravens defense has been pretty subpar. So I do think that the Tampa Bay team, in trying to come back in this game, will put up at least 20 points as well. So that leads me to believe that we will see an over 48 on prime time there, and also give me the Ravens to win outright. I think they're just the better team. I think that the Bucs are flying a little too high right now. That defense is not great. And then finally, we close it out with the Chargers -2 here against the Cardinals. I just could not believe that this spread opened at 1 or 1.5, so I gave it out there on the Discord. Definitely get it below a field goal for this Chargers team on the road. If it gets above 3, we're looking at a playback spot in this Arizona team, as I'm sure they will be desperate. And I'm not sold on this Chargers team completely yet to be laying over a field goal on the road in prime time against a frisky Cardinals team. But Cardinals very inconsistent at this point, and this Chargers defense with Jim Harbaugh has been very feisty thus far. So I do think that the Chargers are the better team here. Maybe we see a reinvigorated Arizona offense with Kyler Murray in that one, but you've got to take the Chargers to win outright. And then, as I mentioned, if the spread gets too inflated, look back for an Arizona spot on the spread. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys think of my predictions in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.